What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to talk about EB-02. Yeah, that's right. EB-02, the next special set, has gone and been properly revealed. And look, we knew EB-02 was coming. We've had a listing on the website for a little while now. We know they're actually raising the price with EB-02 as well. Cue sad face and all of that. What we haven't had is any concrete information except for a couple of images which are going to be used on cards, but we don't know what cards or how. Well, don't worry your pretty little heads about it, because now we do know what cards, and we do know how, and frankly, we're very, very excited about this. So starting off then, we got ourselves a booster pack. The booster pack looks cool, and look, there is a theme for EB-02. EB-02, the entire point of it is the 25th anniversary of the animation. That is very much the theme of the set. Ergo, we've got ourselves what is basically like a concept image or sketch or whatever you will of Luffy twirling hat on finger. We've got a One Piece 25th animation logo on there. It literally says Anime 25th Collection right there on the booster pack. And this is the Japanese booster pack, I should add. So the fact that we've now got kind of, the English writing on there's honestly kind of cool. There is a lot to look at this and be excited about. It is a cool looking pack. And of course, when it comes out in English, we know the deal at this point, right? It's going to look pretty much exactly the same because that's what happens. So the booster pack is incredibly cool. And why they reveal these without them, I don't know. But it's coming out on the 25th of January in Japan. Remember, this is the Japanese reveal we're talking about here, for 220 yen a pack. And frankly, it's worth getting excited about. And it turns out we're heading for green straw hats. Because the first thing we've got is a leader Luffy using artwork which we had previously seen, which is a green and purple Luffy leader. And yes, I know it's another Luffy leader, but it's Luffy. What are we going to do? Obviously, we're getting another Luffy leader, and I hate to break it to you, we're gonna see many more Luffy leaders as time goes by. Luffy is gonna keep getting new leader cards because it's Luffy. It's gonna keep happening, and you know what? I, for one, am totally okay with this. This seems fine by me. And look, my 2-year-old gets excited now when we see Monkey D. Luffy because I've taught my kid who Luffy is, which I'm very proud of. So we're going to have more Luffy as time goes by. It's going to be fine. And we've had a bunch of purple Straw Hat crew recently. What we've not had is a bunch of green Straw Hat. And yes, it is fair to say, well, just because it's purple green Luffy doesn't mean we're necessarily getting green Straw Hat. But I'm telling you, I'm about to show you a couple of green Straw Hat right after this. I assure you it most definitely does, in fact, mean that. So what have we got then in terms of the skill on the Luffy leader? Well, we've got ourselves a skill whereby activate May once per turn, Don -2. If you only have Straw Hat characters in play, activate up to 2 of your Don, and then your leader gets plus 1,000 power until the end of your opponent's next turn. This is awesome. Now, here's the thing. Because generally speaking, we go, well, Don -2, that's not a big deal. Because, of course, we've got a bunch of characters like Black Maria or Charlotte Puddin, who will just get you extra Don out if you're going low on Don, so we don't worry about this. But then we go back to the wording on the skill and we go, well, this skill only works if you only have Straw Hat crew out. And that's where I find this becomes a very, very interesting leader. Because on the one hand, what you really want to do is look at this and go, okay, Don -2, little bit of a pain, but that's okay. We can work around it. We've got these characters that replace Don. And on the, Captain Eustace Kidd from Starter Deck 10 is another example here. The other thing we need to say, though, is that actually none of them work. Because they're not Straw Hat crew, and this is a skill that can only be used with Straw Hat crew. That makes it a much more interesting question. For a while now, I've been sat here just going, yeah, well, don't worry about it. because we've got a bunch of ways to fix it, so it's going to be fine. That's not where we are at the moment. Also, I clearly meant Eustace Kid from OP-05. Sorry, we got both of them in very quick succession, but it is the OP-05 Captain Kid. But my point is, we've got a bunch of ways to mitigate Don minor skills, just none of them work. Not with this deck. But firstly, you get to activate 2 Don, so you lose 2 Don, but you activate 2 Don. It's not the same, but it's a nice little consolation. But also, you get an extra 1,000 until the end of your opponent's next turn. That's huge. And the reason why that's huge is because it means that, firstly, you get an extra 1,000 this turn. That's nice. Your leader's, swinging with a bit more power. That's fine. But secondly, and I do think this is really important, all of a sudden your opponent needs an extra 1,000 power for every swing into leader during their next turn. If you think your opponent's getting close to having a big turn, just use this, and now all of a sudden every attack next turn needs an extra 1,000 to get through your leader and start taking life. That is huge. There is a gigantic difference between a 5k leader and a 6k leader. That's the biggest thing here. Activating 2 Dons that are ready to use again this turn, awesome. But it's the extra power I really love here. Just remember, it's Don -2 in a situation where it's going to be hard to replenish. Now, if you're not using a bunch of other Don minor skills, then what you can do is just kind of go up to 8 Don -2, get them back at the start of your next turn. That'll work. But also, this is a risky play, and I kind of love it, honestly. Now, I told you we've not had a huge amount of green Straw Hat crew. That's true, incidentally. But it's not a hard and fast rule. There was exactly one time in the past where we got ourselves green Straw Hat crew, and that, of course, was back in OP-02. Because back in OP-02, we got ourselves all of those film cards. Although, to be fair, we did actually have the Sanji from EB-01 as well, and we just got some Odyssey Straw Hat crew in OP-09 that are green, which is weird because they're Odyssey cards, and Odyssey cards tend to be green, but they are also Straw Hat, so maybe I've downplayed how many green Straw Hat crew we've had. Either way, we've got some really good ones, and remember, we've got ones like Luffy, for instance, that when you play it, you get to play a film or Straw Hat crew with a cost of 4 or less from your hand. Brook, that is a 4 cost, so when you play, you get to play a 3 or less from your hand, so you can kind of cascade these down. Plus, of course, the Nami is a very nice one as well, because it lets you find a film card other than Nami. Which brings us nicely onto the new green Straw Hat crew Nami, which is a similar kind of thing. It is your generic Straw Hat green searcher. 1 cost, 2,000 power, counter plus 1,000, and on play, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, find a Straw Hat other than Nami, and pop it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. Standard searcher, now it's for green Straw Hat. And yes, I know we had the Nami in OP-02, but as I just told you, that Nami was specifically for film. This Nami is for Straw Hat. So we need at least one more Straw Hat before we carry on. How about this very interesting Zoro? 4 cost, 5,000 power, counter plus 1,000. And if your opponent has 2 or more characters in play, then this character can attack characters on the turn you play it. It's not rush. It's also technically not an on-play skill, which is important, because it doesn't have the on-play wording. And yeah, it's only if your opponent's got 2 or more characters, and it's only attacking characters, not the leader. But that seems like a hefty bonus for me, trying to take out your opponent's characters as they come around. We've also got a second skill here, whereby on play, if your leader is a Straw Hat crew, rest one of your opponent's 4 cost or lower characters. And this again strikes me as a very cool character, because you're resting characters on play, that's a good thing. You're attacking characters, and that's the other thing here, right? You can combine these skills. So you play this, and your opponent's like, ha 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 ha, none of my characters are rested. There are no characters for you to attack. And you're like, well, I'll rest that 4 cost or lower, and then I can attack that straight away because of my first skill, and then I'm taking your character off the board, and that is wonderful. Nice, aggressive Zoro. Frankly, the kind of thing we've come to expect. So we've got a leader Luffy, which is looking very interesting. And remember, we've had a bunch of purple Straw Hats recently. But then it's also green, and it's bringing a bunch of new green Straw Hat. But we did have the film and the Odyssey cards previously. And you add that all up, and you get a very interesting leader. Plus Nami for searching, Zoro for aggression. What more could you want? Well, tell me in the comment section, would you? Get us! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about One Piece and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.